There are things in this world that are everywhere, yet almost never noticed. They do not demand attention, they do not appear in headlines, they do not promise a utopian future. But if they were suddenly gone, modern life would come to a halt. Liquefied petroleum gas, LPG, is one of them. Every single day, billions of people cook their meals, heat their homes, or drive their cars using LPG. And almost none of them ever stop to ask a simple question: where did this energy come from? Because LPG is quiet. It does not shine. It does not advertise itself as the future. And that is exactly why it became one of the most powerful, yet invisible, energy empires in modern history. This is not the story you usually hear about LPG. This is the story that stayed in the background. A problem no one wanted. At the beginning of the 20th century, the world was transforming at an unprecedented speed. Factories multiplied, cities expanded, machines replaced muscle, and oil became the lifeblood of this new world. But as oil was extracted from the ground, something inconvenient came with it: gas. Highly volatile gases escaped during drilling and refining. They were difficult to control, dangerous to store, and almost impossible to transport. To the oil industry, these gases were nothing more than waste. They were burned off in massive flares or released into the atmosphere. They contained enormous energy, but no one knew what to do with them, until someone looked closer. In 1910, an American chemist named Dr. Walter Snelling was investigating a strange problem. Gasoline seemed to evaporate faster than expected, causing storage issues. When Snelling analyzed the evaporating components, he realized something remarkable. The gases escaping from gasoline were extremely energy-dense. But the real breakthrough came with a simple observation. When pressure was applied, these gases turned into liquid. Liquefied gas meant smaller volume. Smaller volume meant transport. Transport meant control. Snelling had unintentionally unlocked the foundation of LPG, mainly propane and butane, stored as liquids under pressure. At the time, few people understood the significance of this discovery. Oil was abundant, gasoline was cheap, LPG remained backstage. For decades, LPG was treated as a byproduct. It existed, but it was never celebrated. Oil dominated transportation, coal-powered industry. Electricity symbolized progress. But LPG had one silent advantage: independence. It needed no pipelines, no power grid, no massive infrastructure. It could be transported anywhere, in cylinders, tanks, and small containers. Slowly, LPG found its way into camps, rural kitchens, and mobile systems. Not because it was revolutionary, but because it worked. Then the world went to war. During the First and Second World Wars, energy became a weapon. Armies needed fuel that was portable, reliable, and efficient. Coal was heavy. Gasoline was dangerous. Electricity was impractical on the front lines. LPG quietly filled the gap. During the First and Second World Wars, energy became a weapon. Armies needed fuel that was portable, reliable, and efficient. Coal was heavy. Gasoline was dangerous. Electricity was impractical on the front lines. LPG quietly filled the gap. It powered field kitchens, heating systems, and mobile equipment. It was never the hero of war stories, but it was always there. When the wars ended, the world faced a new challenge: rebuilding daily life. In the 1950s, modern infrastructure was uneven. Electricity had not reached everywhere. Natural gas pipelines were limited to major cities, but LPG did not care about geography. A single cylinder and a stove could bring modern cooking into any home. No smoke, no wood, no coal dust. For millions of households, especially women, This was a silent revolution. LPG did not just change kitchens, it changed time, labor, and health. And still, it did so without fanfare. By the 1970s, the world believed oil would remain cheap forever. Then came the oil crisis. Political conflicts in the Middle East disrupted supply chains. Fuel prices exploded. Gasoline shortages paralyzed entire countries. For the first time, societies asked a dangerous question: what if oil is not guaranteed? Governments and consumers searched for alternatives. Electric vehicles were immature. Natural gas infrastructure was incomplete. Coal was unacceptable for cities. And once again, LPG stepped forward. Experiments with LPG-powered vehicles had existed for decades. But now, necessity turned experiments into reality. LPG was cheaper, it burned cleaner, it reduced engine wear. Countries like Italy, the Netherlands, South Korea, and Turkey embraced it rapidly. In Turkey especially, LPG became more than an option. It became a survival strategy. Workshops converted vehicles, technology improved, safety standards evolved. Today, Turkey has one of the largest LPG vehicle fleets in the world, not because of ideology, because of economics. Compared to gasoline and coal, LPG produced fewer particulates and lower emissions. Yet it was never marketed as a green savior. It had no heroic narrative, no political movement behind it. It simply did its job, and sometimes that is exactly why something lasts. A fuel without borders. Unlike oil and natural gas, LPG did not dominate geopolitical maps. It was produced everywhere, oil was refined, but depended less on fixed routes. This made it flexible, resilient, difficult to weaponize politically. During crises, LPG often kept flowing when other fuels did not. It became the energy system's backup plan. Every major energy source has a loud lobby. Coal fights to survive. Oil defends its dominance. Renewables sell hope. LPG does none of that. It does not threaten the system. It complements it. That neutrality kept it out of ideological wars and inside everyday life. As climate change entered the global agenda, energy sources were divided into simple categories: clean or dirty. LPG did not fit. It was cleaner than coal and gasoline, but still fossil-based. This ambiguity kept LPG out of the spotlight. Yet in developing countries, LPG replaced wood and charcoal, drastically improving air quality and health. Quiet progress. No headlines. The future promised electrification. But reality was slower. Grids were fragile. Electricity was often produced by coal. Blackouts happened. And when power went out, LPG stayed on. This reliability kept it relevant, even as attention shifted elsewhere. LPG never aimed to be the best. It aimed to be reliable. It adapted to every era, every crisis, every technological shift. It did not dominate history. It supported it. Empires are not always built with armies or borders. Some are built with habits: turning a knob, lighting a stove, starting an engine. LPG's empire exists in these repeated moments. Unseen, uncelebrated, indispensable. After this story, you may never see an LPG cylinder the same way again. It is not just metal and gas. It is a century-old system that powered wars, rebuilt homes, and kept modern life running quietly. Because sometimes the strongest forces in the world are the ones that never ask to be seen. This was the invisible empire. This was the secret history of LPG.